Good day, citizens of Neverwinter. Today I'm going to talk about my Cleric healer build. I'm not going to go into the DPS build on the Cleric. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Um, so I am by no means best in slot. You can see that I'm still missing the Alabaster main hand for this. I am not best in slot in enchantments. I'm not best in slot in artifacts on this character. But this character is perfectly viable for healing through Tong, or not through Tong, but through Lair of the Mad Mage. In fact, I have done Lair of the Mad Mage runs as the only healer, uh, meaning running with a fighter or a barbarian tank. So that I've even managed healing without any party drops in the second boss of Lair of the Mad Mage using this build, using the character way its stats are right now, with 15 gigawatt phases on the second boss. So again, this is a viable build. It's not necessarily an endgame build, and it works for me. So I'll just do a quick talk about gear. As a healer, our gear and stats, I should say. As a healer, you're really looking for a couple of things. You're looking for power. You're looking to cap your crit strike, right? So I'm way over cap on my crit strike on this just naturally. It's pretty easy to cap your crit strike. You want to have some decent crit severity. So my crit severity is kind of low. It'd be nice if I had it up a little higher. And then you're looking for this outgoing healing, right? I recommend running at least 20% outgoing healing. Uh, there are clerics running around on the server right now that are 50+% outgoing healing. It makes a huge difference in the run. The more outgoing healing you have, the less dependent you are on having good power and timing and really playing your character well. It gives you a lot more breathing room. We talk about ability scores. I went all wisdom and charisma on this build. So again, I'm going for wisdom due to increased outgoing healing, and charisma to improve recharge speed and companion influence. Recharge speed is a little important, especially on the first boss in Lair of the Mad Mage, so that you have intercession up and running. So when we talk about mounts, I'm not going to get really into mount insignias or mount insignia bonuses. Again, you're looking for power, crit, uh, if you're not crit capped, and stuff like that. We talk about companions. You can see that I'm running companions that are plus outgoing healing bonus. These actually go up to 10% if I were to level these companions to legendary. Um, which again would be a nice boost. And I could run more of that. So power, outgoing healing bonus, crit severity. We talk about boons. I'm not going to get too much into the tier 1 through 5 boons. Again, power, some movement speed. You want to have good recovery and action point gain. And then for the top tier boon, I go for blessed advantage on this build. We talk about stronghold boons. Again, power. I believe I was defense capped, so I'm running hit points. And then from a utility perspective, you want to run revive sickness. If you do manage to get downed, having revive sickness on you, even one stack, is a serious penalty to you and the party. The more stacks you have, the worse it gets. I believe at one stack, it's 10% damage loss, it's 10% less defense, 10% less hit points, and it just goes up from there. It gets worse and worse. So this halves the penalty of that, and can make some of those runs that are struggle runs a little more digestible. We talk about powers. Again, I'm going to talk about what works for me. I'm sure that there are other clerics out there that have their own opinions on this and their own rotations and what works for them. And they can come to my Twitch and tell me all about it. I love to hear feedback on my builds, but enough of that for right now. So from a damage at will, I run Sacred Flame. That's the only damage power I run in the dungeon. I really hope that I'm running with a tank that can kill a Mimic because I'm not doing a lot of damage on the Mimic. For my secondary at will, I run Soothe. That does cost divinity. I sometimes change that out for Blessing of Light. It really depends on how tough the run is and how much healing I'm doing or not doing. When we come to encounter powers, my go-to healing power is Bastion of Health. I use this all the time. It has a relatively low divinity cost for a really good heal. Unfortunately, it doesn't apply a heal over time, uh, but it's still a really big heal. It works really well. I run Exaltation. So a great example of how I run Exaltation is when you know a Mimic or a Cocoon phase is coming, you pop Exaltation. It's boosting your outgoing healing by 20%. You drop Bastion of Health on it. If it's a DPS character, they're fully healed. Pretty much guaranteed to be fully healed. Sometimes you need to drop another Bastion, not a big deal. If you're talking about a tank, that's where intercession pops in, right? Um, I like my party to huddle in around the cocoon because that means I can drop Bastion of Health on all of them. They're fully healed. If I've got a tank with say 700,000 hit points, I pop intercession, and that pretty much is a guarantee of a full heal. I mean, that brings them up nearly topped off, and maybe I can drop another Bastion. Try to save up my divinity for those. In the second phase, I have run the second phase a little differently. I usually throw in Healing Word in instead of Intercession in that case. Um, so on the second boss, I've healed again without any other healers on the second phase, using this loadout, Bastion of Health, using my Hallowed Ground daily, up to 15 gigawatts. Again, without anyone going down in the party. So when I come to my dailies, I don't really use a lot of Guardian of Life. It is a good power. Um, I prefer Hallowed Ground, um, especially for say the second boss in Lair of the Mad Mage or Trobriand. When Trobriand does his little thunderclap thing after you've destroyed the towers, right away cuddle up his group, drop Hallowed Ground, and then maybe drop Healing Word at that point, because now you're getting a heal over time, you're getting a good heal, and your party's going to survive that clap, even if Trobriand's near fully powered up. So from a class features perspective, I'm running Desperate Prayers. So that's when my divinity drops below half. It increases my outgoing healing by up to 20%. So I'm getting a little bit more mileage out of the bottom half of that divinity meter. And then Hallowed Guide. So that again increases my healing by 5% when my target is within 15 feet. So if I'm right next to who I'm healing, I'm going to do some bigger heals. From a feat perspective, I go with. I'm not going to go into these too deep. This is just my personal build again. I went with Empowered Soothe, Rhythm of the Heavens, Blessed Armaments, Anointed Arms, and Angel of Life. So again, just to reiterate, what's really important here is power, outgoing healing, crit strike, crit severity. The crits, the crit strike and crit severity, because heals can crit. That means you're doing bigger heals, which means when your party's really low on health, you can do less heals and more effectively manage your divinity. And that's all I have for today. If you found this informative or you have feedback on this build, please hit me up at Twitch. It's Twitch TV /Lord_Willow_. And I thank you.